Hello and welcome to day 103. So I'm trying to break a 2-game losing streak. Both of them involved blunders. So not a good way to start the next 100 games in this Quest for 2000 series. So let's begin here. We have a 1582 player and they start with E4. So I'm trying to learn the Caro-Kann. I believe it's the advanced variation. So let's see how this plays out. That's if they play the advanced variation by pushing this e5 pawn. And then I would push the c pawn. But they played the exchange variation. Oh, okay. Well, this is interesting. I'm going to take this and leave them with an isolated pawn. So let's see what they do next. All right, well, probably end up with a blocked in bishop, but I'm going to try and slow down his piece there. All right. If I bring my knight up here, well, I better do it. I need to get pieces developed since now I'm behind in development. All right, so do we pin this, or I think we'll just go there and get ready to castle, which we need to do here. All right, so we'll go ahead and castle. See what they decide to play next. And they're putting their bishop in a good spot there. Now, what do I want to do? Have to decide where will be best to put this knight. Do I just bring it here? All right, well, might as well just go here and just keep moving forward with development. All right, now what is this threatening? An attack on my rook. So do I kick him away? All right, so there's a threat here of moving in, attacking my rook. If that happens, I can move back here. But then the knight could jump back. And then will we go, repeating the position? Or do I jump forward here with my knight? No, because then I would have to capture with the pawn. All right, so a lot going on here. We have to figure out how we want to play this. Well, okay, yeah, if I go here, they could just capture me. I would have to capture with the pawn. If I go here, I at least force the rook to make a decision. All right, we'll go ahead and do that. See what they decide to play. So if they jump forward attacking my rook, then I pretty much have to move my rook here. Then where do they go with their knight after that? That is the question. Well, I mean, I guess they could leave their knight there, but if they jump down here to c7, attack my rook, I move my rook over, they could just leave that knight there. But then, okay, so they just retreat back, which I guess that's fine with me. Now, do we play this move, preventing pieces from moving forward? But then that could give them a target to attack. You know, maybe he could make a battery with the queen, threaten to capture here, and open my position up. But I could go here. Well, let's see. The options are to attack, pushing my pawn forward, chasing his bishop back, but it could just send the bishop here and line up on my king side. I don't know, maybe I go here, keeping the bishop from attacking my knight, but probably need to do something about my bishop. So maybe I attack and then bring this bishop to here, lining up on the king side. Now also, if he pushes forward and I capture, I need to take a look at that, because he has, in an isolated queen pawn position, your goal should be to trade off pieces if you can. So if I trade off some pieces, that would help me, because he'll have less to defend this isolated pawn. Now he could just push this isolated pawn forward, and then if I capture, he captures, I captures, bishop captures, and then my knight would be pinned there. So I don't know if I like that position. So maybe we'll just go there. I'm burning too much time. Go there and kind of wait and see what he does next. You know, maybe I could try and go here. And attack his bishop. Let's see. Yeah, that is a plan. Now I can go there, not worry about his bishop attacking my knight. All right. And if he pushes forward, it would help me develop this bishop outside of this pawn chain, you know, because I have this bad bishop here. All right, I'm thinking we just go there, attack his bishop. But now, of course, he could jump his knight in there. Yep, all right, so he jumps the knight in. I do not want to capture with my knight, because then he could recapture with the pawn, forking both of my pieces. So I kind of have to capture with the bishop. If I do that, he could capture with the pawn, you know, and attack my knight. So well, maybe now I could bring my queen up here. Hmm. So perhaps I do that. Bring the queen up. The only thing is, if I bring my queen here, he could just place a rook here and potentially have that lined up on my queen. So I need to be careful about that. And he could push the pawn. Maybe if I capture, his knight jumps forward, but my knight would be able to capture. All right. Well, I don't want to give up the bishop pair. So, but man, that knight is in a good outpost there, so maybe I need to give it up. All right, we're going to just give up the bishop pair. I'm burning up way too much time here. Way too much time. And that's probably not the best move, giving up my good bishop, but I didn't want to leave that knight there. Now he could get rid of his isolated pawn by going there, but I don't know, maybe that would allow me to capture his queen here. So if I get rid of the queen, do I want to do that? We'll go ahead and knock that queen out of there. And then I can try and pile up on the pawn. So we'll go there, add some pressure to that pawn. But he has two defenders, so I don't know if that really did too much. But now I could try and push forward here, attacking. I don't know, this knight is kind of in trouble, but maybe I push forward here, attacking his bishop. Then I could try and move up. I don't know, it's not looking too good. All right. Well, All right, do I attack here? Probably need to do that. I need to move forward and attack. So I probably have to do that. And then maybe move my bishop up, or my knight up here. I need to guard this square though, this d6 square, because he could drop a piece in there, and that's not going to be so good for me. All right, where do we go next? Well, we have to do something with this knight. So where do we put it? Where do we put this knight? probably here, but then he could drop down and start attacking. All right, I guess we have to do that. He could drop a rook down here, though, and I'm going to have to move up here and protect. Then I guess I could try and move in here and trade off. Move rooks to d8 and start trading down the open file, but need to be careful though. So if they move here, I'll have to protect. Then they could double rooks, but then that would allow me to fight for control here. Oh, another problem is this bishop just jumping over here and attacking me. But I don't know, maybe that yeah, that could be an issue. Then I'd have to move my rook here to protect it with the. But man, this is going to be a problem, him trying to come down on this open file here. So I need to fight for that open file in a hurry. All right, well, at least they're finally burning some time up thinking here. Where are they from? India. All right, so what can we do to try and attack? Well, we could jump up here, but then they would just capture us. We'd be left with this weak, isolated pawn. So I definitely need to do something about this bishop. Maybe I fight for the open file. Let's see. Well, I'm going to end up going here anyway with this rook at some point. Now, if I bring my bishop up here and his bishop just moves and attacks my knight, where does my knight go? So maybe I need to bring this rook over first. All right. Now, do I want to push forward here, attacking his pawn and knight? That could be a possibility as well. But man, these bishops could become dangerous in an open position like this. So he could just drop down here and attack both my knights. And then if I go here to b7, then they attack this. And then where does that go? Maybe I have to go back down to here. Well, if I do that, he could drop in on the 7th rank. Okay, so he's trying to bring his knight, or her, I don't know yet if it's who I'm playing against. All right, so, well, they want to go here. So that move, should we go here immediately? Um, all right, now I have to think here. Um, the knight wants to go there. So I guess we just bring our bishop up here. Then he could attack it with his knight. I could try and protect. All right. Guess we're doing that. Oh, they go that way. So that's pretty interesting. All right. Well, now I'm kind of forced to go here. So we'll do that. So I'm still learning this Caro-Kann. Obviously, I didn't play it the best way, the exchange variation. So lately, I've been focusing on just learning the Jabava London, where I play with white and I start out with d4. And then if they play d5 or knight to f6, I respond with knight to c3, and then a bishop on f4. So with black, I need to work on the Caro-Kann, and then if they play, d4, well, the Caro-Kann would be against e4. If they play d4, I'm working on the Slav defense, and then c4, I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm probably playing c6 and then see what they do after that, but so I'm still working on these openings. All right. What do they have next? If they get these bishops going. So I need to get a rook in here on the open file. Okay, so here we go. Here comes. So now he's going to threaten to pick this off and then pick off the bishop and then leave me with an unprotected piece here. So not looking too good. Oh, I guess, well, no, I can't do that. If I retreat back, he'll pick this pawn off. So I'm kind of stuck and have to do something like that. Hmm. Now the problem is he can just try and double up here, just double his rooks up or her rooks up, and then what do I do next? You know, the bishops are going to be a problem. They could put a bishop in here. Um, this bishop could go up here and then swing over here maybe and try and pile up. I guess I should push this pawn forward, maybe. Then I might be able to drop my... Oh, that might be rough as well. You know, he could try and... If I move my bishop here back to the back rank, he could drop in here and attack this rook. But at that point, I could maybe move up. All right, I probably need to see if I can get my king to the center as well. I'm wondering if I should have gone here. If he would have no, because then he could capture, and if I capture him, his knight could have gone back up here. So, yep, there he is, doubling up there. All right. Well, I really need to do something now. So do I go here immediately and just attack his rook? You know, that's a possibility. So I guess I'm doing that, attacking his rook. Or her rook. All right. This will leave me with with broken pawns, which is not ideal. But maybe he'll give up his bishop. All right. Oh, and now I have both of my knights attacking here. So, but I don't know if I want to, well, I could do that. Grab this pawn, but then he'll have a pawn majority over here on the queen side, which, anyway, at least now I have options. Maybe I can get an attack in on this pawn. He'll probably just give up his bishop here, or her bishop. I don't know if my opponent... Okay, so they go ahead and do that. So there we go. At least we got rid of one of those bishops. Their bishop pair is gone now. The problem is this pawn is kind of weak here. You know, now they could just go after this. Just to go after this pawn. So what do I have? I ignore that. Maybe. Well, no. That's probably what they're going to do next. Okay, so they decide to play that. That's interesting. Okay. All right. Well, now what do I do? Just drop back. Guess we'll do that. All right, so if they capture, did that even work or did I make a mistake there? Did I make a mistake on that one? All right, we'll go there. I guess I did make a mistake. Not good, not good. All right. So another mistake. Well, at least I have this move, maybe. All right, well, at least that's not a bad move. I'm attacking the rook. If the pawn captures, then I have a mate. So I can go here. But then they'll... Oh, yeah, that's not bad. All right. Well, now I can go here. All right. Now, should I pick this off and then push forward? No, I think I need to stay over here. At least that'll tie him up. And then I can start trying to push the other pawn forward. All right, all right. Well, do I go after this pawn or do I immediately start bringing my king up into the game? Let's see. It would take me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves. Him 1, 2, 3, 4 moves to get there. I could just go after this pawn. So we'll do that. We'll just go after the pawn. Now his best move might be to move one of these pawns or move his king towards the center. Yeah, okay, so he moves one of the pawns. All right, so now, um, what should we try next? Start moving our other pawn forward, or do we pick this off? All right, I guess we could just start. Should we go after this pawn? And then we'll have this isolated pawn. Maybe I should do that. Get rid of this pawn. Then I won't have to worry about a pawn over on this side. So we'll go ahead and do that. Then we can start pushing forward here with this pawn. It might have been better to go here first. That way I could guard this without having to go here. All right, well, I'm hanging in there and I'm behind. So I guess we're just trying to go for a draw if we can at this point. All right, do we just keep pushing forward like that? Well, now I could go after this pawn over here, but man, that gives up my advantage. And if I don't, he's going to go here anyway. He's going to guard that. He's going to guard it anyway with his bishop. Well, then I could attack it. Oh, and I can't go there anyway because he'll just pick me off. Well, I guess I messed that up. Oh, I could go after his bishop, but then he'll just grab it. So I don't know. I guess I wasted this passed pawn trying to push it forward. All right, we'll go after him. Then we'll go after him again. Like that. Oh, man. All right, guess we're going there. You know, at least if he moves, we pick off his bishop and it's pinned. All right, so now what do I do? Move forward. So we'll go there. All right. Now we need to move our king up here. Get our king involved. All right, we should probably capture here. So try and get rid of as many pawns as we can since we're behind. All right. Now, if he moves over, we can pick off this pawn. All right. Oh, man. So now, what can we do? We have to back up. Or, wait, we can go all the way over to here. So we'll try that. And that works. All right, I got to be careful. Whew, and I'm running out of time, like usual. Okay, I'm just hanging on here, trying to grab a draw if I can, or maybe they'll make a mistake, but now I can pick this pawn off and have a passed pawn over here. All right, so what now? At least I've got their bishop trapped. And I should go after this pawn. But more importantly, I should probably try and go after these pawns in the middle. Although, all right. I guess we're going after this pawn. So we'll grab the pawn. Then maybe we can go after this pawn. All right, so they're, that was surprising. I thought they were going to bring their rook down here and target this. Okay. We should probably go after this. But I don't know. I guess we should just go here. Giving our rook room to move. Start trying to push this other passed pawn. All right, so I don't know. Now I'm kind of forced to go back here pretty much. All right, do I push the pawn or do I go after the bishop? So maybe I go after the bishop. Oh, I don't want to run out of time, so let's go after the bishop. Maybe I can get behind my passed pawn. All right. So, all right, we'll do that. We'll try and slip down here, get behind the passed pawn, guard this pawn from the side as we push the other one forward. So we'll get behind the passed pawn, move up here, guard this. So we'll go there. Then all right, well, now we can swing up here, push this pawn, try and exchange. We can't because of the rook pinning the pawn. Well, now we can do it. Can go right there. Well, I'll go there, target that. Now I can pick that off. All right. Well, now it'll be harder for them to win with no pawns. So what do I have to do here? Try and stay out of the Well, I could go here. Try and limit the scope of their king. So now I might be able to get a draw by the 50 move rule. You know, if I can move around for 50 more moves, which, oh my gosh, we're already at about 60. So if I can make it to around 110. All right, so do I go here? Or maybe, but then he can just move away and he'll be protected. So I should probably just stay in the center. All right, so now what do I do? Just go here to limit his king, keep his king trapped off to the side away from my king. All right. Then just go there. Now the problem is I have to make sure that I don't do anything that will get my rook taken. Guess we're going there. All right, guess we could attack. Stay in the center. All right, we'll do that. And I think I'll need to look up this end game, but I think that you can just go into this corner here maybe and be safer, but because the bishop is in the opposite. Okay, well now we can just trade off rooks. So it'll just be a draw. All right, well, at least they didn't put up more of a fight because now we can just trade off rooks and just have a draw. But, you know, they were lower rated, so good for them. Getting a draw out of it. I just didn't play that opening so great. So let's do a game review here. At least I broke my 2-game losing streak, but, you know, it would have been better to have a win. Okay, yeah, they just had the advantage and were ahead. I missed something here. Looks like 2 times. I had a slight lead here early in the game, and then probably after I gave up my bishop pair and got all my pieces kind of stuck in the back, then I missed something here and here. Where the game dips down. So let's do this game review. Man, they had 5 great moves. I had 1. They played 26 of the best moves. I played 28. They had 4 mistakes. I had 5. They had 2 missed opportunities. Oh man, I had 2 blunders. Definitely got to see what those were. Inaccuracies. Let's see, I had 6, they had 5. Mistakes, they had 4, I had 5. All right, so we both played at a 1800 level. Now, opening accuracy, they were 95.7. I was 96.4, so I guess I started out okay in the beginning. It must have just been when I gave up that bishop. That was probably the move that kind of took me downhill. All right, so 69.4 versus 52.9 in the middle game. Yeah, so I think I was just in trouble defending there. End game, 81.2, and I had 86.1. So the end game kind of helped me get that draw. Okay, into this review. So E4, I played C5, the Caro-Kann. Now, they just played D4, so they take control of the center, because if your opponent's going to let you put both these pawns in the center without fighting, you might as well do that and control all these squares. So next, let's see, we had D5, so this is how you normally continue with the Caro-Kann. Now they can push forward for the advanced variation, gaining space and kind of restricting your game. And then in that case, I would have pushed to C5, this variation where you kind of turn the game into an almost French defense, especially if you go to E6. But we had the exchange variation. So by doing this, it opens the center up, creating a lot of room for the pieces to maneuver. And when that happens, you want to get your pieces developed as fast as you can. So the game continued with, well, I'll kind of zip through this and I'll take a better look at everything in the analysis. So White is left with an isolated queen pawn. And usually in that, you want to just trade off as many pieces as you can and then target that pawn. Although they could have pushed that pawn, because they just have 1, 2, 3 pieces that are kind of controlling d4. I've got 3. So at the moment, I'm kind of holding them off. But, if they push forward, then I capture, they capture, I capture, and their queen or bishop could capture here. So they could have gotten rid of their isolated pawn, but instead they used that to create an outpost for their knight. So they played pretty good, just developing pieces. So this was a mistake, apparently. So I must have missed my chance. Well, maybe not. Let's see, because I think I just kicked it away, and then they kind of wasted time on that maneuver. Yeah, so it looks like I responded correctly. Man, it just zipped through these moves pretty quick. So definitely want to look at this position more in depth in the analysis after this quick game review. So this was a mistake. What would have been better? So better would have been to bring my rook over. Oh, maybe try to bring the rook over, up, and then over to d7 maybe. I don't know if that would work, but anyway, let's see what was best. Bringing the rook over, and then, yeah, then maybe you don't have to worry about this knight jumping down here. And just all kinds of problems were created. Oh, and if the knight jumps here, the bishop is still covering all the squares that knight can go to. Okay. All right, so now I made the mistake there of just playing too defensive. Oh, it looks like I should have just let them have the pawn here. But then at that point, I would be down by 1.68. So, all right, let's move on with this. Oh, a blunder here. They do not like that move. They're saying it would have been better to just give that knight up and move here. Then I guess I could jump up here and block things out. So something else to take a look at. All right, so yeah, now my pawns are kind of wrecked there. They had a missed opportunity here. What would have been better? To bring the knight in and attack. Oh man, yeah, I was just in trouble out of the opening in this. And then this is another blunder. So now I'm even worse off. Best would have been to just move the knight up. Oh man, yeah, that would just cover this. So I guess they put the pressure on, and it kind of got me all tangled up, got my pieces tangled up. And sometimes when you're on the defensive so much and everything's so uncoordinated, it's hard to concentrate and figure out the right path to untangling all your pieces in such a bad position. Okay, so they capture, which is best. Now what? All right, so they like that move. So they're playing all the right moves to stop me. And now it says I should not have gone after that. Because, yeah, that makes sense, because I could have kept that rook tied up there. So best would have been what? Just to activate my king. Start pushing my king up the board, keeping this stuck here. But I don't know. They could just go here and then maybe just drop back to here. And then they would grab this anyway. but that would give my king time to jump out here in the center. All right, more to look at in the analysis. So, I guess we need to look at this pawn push of the passed pawn. Maybe I didn't do that in the best manner. All right, a mistake best would have been what? To drop back. Yeah, they could have done that, and then they're covering this square. And then, there's not much I can do. That pawn will just sit there till the king tries to come over and stop it, I guess. All right. So that was a mistake. What would have been better? Just immediately moving my king up. All right. So a great move, putting the king over here. I guess it heads over to protect one of these pieces, protect the bishop so the rook can be freed up. Oh, it didn't like that. Another mistake. It wants me to just go here. Which, yeah, that would keep the, force the king to move over. And then we could, maybe go after this. All right, it did not like that move. Best would have been to go here. Oh, because then they could guard this pawn, keeping a pawn available. I would not be able to push forward and get rid of this pawn. That would make the game a lot tougher if they would have kept a pawn on the board. All right, so we're able to attack. We trade off, and then it just goes down into a draw after I trade the rooks off. Okay, some things to look at in the analysis. So let's take a look at this analysis from the beginning. The Caro-Kann, e4, c5, or c6, sorry. c5 would be the Sicilian. All right, so d4, d5. Now they exchange, so we have the exchange variation. So here the computer says knight to f3 or c4 even. Sometimes people will play c3 at some point guarding this, maybe an immediate bishop move here, then push this pawn up to guard the central pawn. But we have c4 being played. So this is the Panov attack, it looks like. And here, what is best? So apparently, it is not best to trade off. I should have developed a piece. Knight to f6, just develop the knight. Computer says e6 is the best move. So, that's interesting. e6 maybe, if I move up to e6, they could capture. But it looks like just developing pieces is better here. All right, so I capture, they capture. Was that the best move? Yes, it looks like the best move. E6 is best, kind of restraining this pawn from being able to move further up the board and trying to choke my position. So now knight to f3. Looks like, what do we have here? Bishop to e7 is what the computer likes. Knight to f6 and knight to c6 are both good. So we go here trying to control the square in front of the pawn. So they drop a knight in here. Now maybe it would have been better to bring the knight to d7 and then over to here and try and have another knight attempting to control this square in front of the pawn. So now it's saying d6. Bishop to d6 would be best here, which would kind of keep his bishop from being able to move to the best square. But I move here, that way if he pins my knight to the queen, well, it prevents him from pinning the knight to the queen. And now castling, and then the bishop takes this good square here. So now what? Knight to c6 is best, although it was saying knight to d2. So yeah, I would think maybe that would be better because I could try and jump here, then up here, attacking the bishop, but also trying to control more thoroughly this square in front of the isolated pawn to prevent it from, or try to keep it from moving forward. All right, so knight to b5, a mistake. What should they have done? Looks like just develop another piece. Now, one advantage of the isolated queen pawn is the open files, on each side of it, which you can place both your rooks there and then operate down these half open or open files and give your rooks more scope to aid in an attack. So instead of that, well, if they played that, now it's saying I should play b6. b6. All right, so I guess it wants that plan. But if I play b6, now they're saying d5 immediately. Then knight up to a5 attacking the bishop. Well, let's take a look at that. b6. See if the computer, if it evaluates a little bit deeper, if it still likes that move. Yes, b6. Now it's saying rook to e1 would be better. So rook to e1, and then we drop our bishop in here. All right. Well, let's see. That would have been a better plan than what I played in the game. So when they played b5, I just attacked, and then, let's see, knight retreats, and now immediately I should have played b5. Yeah, I should have just kept up the pressure. That would have kept black with a slight edge. I'd jump forward, driving the bishop back. Then it would give me time to develop my bishop. What did I do? I played that move, which an inaccuracy. So that was just a wasted move. So let's look at this move. Kicking the bishop back. The bishop should go where? Looks like it likes bishop to d3 the best, which eyes the king side, helps control the center a little bit. And now I should play bishop to b7, developing my bishop. And then, well, now it's saying h6. h6. All right, well, h6 would keep pieces out of g5, and maybe there's a possibility of the bishop and the knight piling up on this pawn, and then if the queen could come in there, but I don't know if that would work. Right now I have the knight there helping protect things. Okay, let's see what actually happened. After this wasted h6 move, now we have rook to e1. So like I said, putting the rooks on the open or half open file on one side of the isolated pawn. So this rook is a lot stronger there. putting more pressure down this half open e file. So bishop to d6. All right. Here I wasted a move again. This is an inaccuracy. Now the advantage jumps in white's favor. So it looks like I should have kicked that bishop with b5. So once again, b5. And now the best move looks like would be d5, getting rid of their isolated pawn. So then I would capture. And now... Oh, wait a minute. Now it's saying I should have jumped over here and attacked the bishop first. Either way, the bishop's under attack, so it has to capture. Now, if we take, getting rid of the bishop pair, that knight jumps in and attacks here. So we don't want to help him develop his knight. So we should go bishop to b7. And then it looks like a3, giving the bishop a place to drop back and escape. And now it's saying, you know, white could have captured the knight here also. But, you know, after that pawn move, bishop to c5 is the recommendation. Just eyeing the king. So bishop up to c5. You know, and then b4 kicks me back. But we can retreat. Or we can just capture here. So, or we could play bishop all the way back to a7. You know, so probably want to keep our bishop pair. Anyway, before I get too deep into that, let's look here. After bishop to d6, so that's what I played in the game, which is another inaccuracy. They played knight to e5, the best move. Now, the first instinct I had was to just go here, queen to c7, and it looks like that would have been the best move. So that is what I should have done. Instead, I make another inaccuracy, giving up my bishop pair, which jumps white up to, you know, almost a full pawn's worth of material, or the equivalent of a pawn, you know, almost up to +1. So what would have been better? Queen to c7. Oh, although now it's saying rook to b8. So let me look at this. Here it says queen to c7 as well. So, you know, that's what I was thinking in the game, and that looks like that's what I should have done. But I was worried about the other rook moving here and lining up on my queen. But, you know, maybe I was seeing ghosts there. And sure enough, it looks like that is the best move. And then I should play rook to d8, grabbing the half open file for myself there. And then bishop back to d3. Okay, all right, we can't attack there. Then pick this off because the pawn, you know, the pawn would be forking our pieces here. All right, so bishop to d3, you know, so the bishop's not under attack, and now the knight can move and line up on our queen. So now it looks like queen to e7 would be the best move, getting out of the line of fire of that rook. So, you know, if we did that, well, now they should go ahead and capture here and break our pawns up. So now we have two isolated pawns, which is not so good. I don't know if I like that line, but now, what? Bishop to e5. They would jump their bishop in here. That way, if I capture, their pawn moves here. Although we could move forward at that point. Oh, but this pawn is unprotected. So if they go bishop to e5, the recommendation is knight to d7, attacking. And then knight to a4, threatening to maybe jump in here and fork these pieces in the future. Okay, back to the game. I took with the bishop, so I gave up my bishop pair, and the knight is moving back here, or retreating back, because what else could I do? I don't have many other options. I can't go forward. The recommendation is to take the queen, which is what I did here. Oh, now it doesn't like that. It says that I should have gone forward with knight to d5. Oh my. So if I do that, then we have knight captures, pawn captures, bishop captures. So then we would just be down a pawn. Bishop to f5. So I don't know. We wouldn't have been as restricted as we were in the other game, but a queen trade is coming. It looks like, because if he captures this knight and I have to recapture, then my queen will be picked off, and I'll just be behind a pawn. So that just shows you how. If you don't have your openings down, you can just come out behind in the openings. So I still need to work on these openings to prevent that in the future from me just playing at a disadvantage out of the opening. All right. Here we go. Capture, capture, queen trade, and then the knight retreats. So now we have bishop to d3 is the best move, but instead they play this. Why would that bishop to d3 move be any good? I guess from there they could reposition and target my knight possibly, and line up on my knight and down towards the rook, and this backwards pawn. Okay, and it prevents you from just kicking the bishop and gaining time. So that. It looks like they should have gone all the way back now. Here, maybe I should have just gone forward. Yep, it looks like b4 would have been the best move here. So I overlooked that. So another thing that I have to work on, and maybe you might have this issue as well, not keeping an eye out for good pawn pushes, or sometimes you just neglect the pawns so much because you're looking for good places to put your pieces, but a good pawn move could make a difference here. So it looks like instead of that move with the knight, I should have just pushed the pawn and attacked the knight. So if they capture, then it just brings my knight forward attacking their bishop. So it looks like the best thing to do is to move forward here to a4. Then maybe in the future you're threatening a jump up here. And now looks like a5, or you could just go ahead and capture the pawn. Well, if you move the a5, then if they capture you, it gets rid of your rook pawn. And usually it's better to have a central pawn instead of a rook pawn going into the endgames. So yeah, I could have played better all around in this game. So back to the game. They jump their knight in, which is an inaccuracy. Immediate rook to d1 would have been better. And then I make this mistake. Best would have been rook to b8. Then they should play bishop to e3, it looks like, which I was expecting that at some point in the game, and I don't think they ever did it. Knight to c4 now. So, yeah, then I would have to jump up here anyway, which I did in the game. And then they do not want you to capture and give up your bishop pair. Instead, bishop to c5. All right, it helps cover this outpost here on d6. So now the knight could jump in there. If the knight is captured, then the bishop jumps in there, attacking your rook. So they're causing all kinds of problems with this advanced pawn and this outpost here. So in the game, after this move, we have the knight taking advantage, jumping in, attacking this undefended bishop. So we protect, and now the rook takes the outpost. So now if this knight moves, the other knight can be picked off. All right, so I defend, but that is a mistake. It would have been better to retreat. So do they want me to retreat there? But then I don't know if I like that. They're just going to capture. Then looks like I should go here. Bishop to d2. Threatening to attack. Now they're saying I should move the knight as well. And then knight. Is this right? Okay, knight to a4 is what they want. Knight to a4. b3 just attacks. Now what? Knight back to b6. And then what? Bishop to b1. Now you activate this bishop since the pawn is obstructing it. Now you can just throw this bishop down into the center. Maybe pile up with a rook and the bishop on this knight here. And then this knight. Oh, well, I do have this option. Jumping this knight here, which is what the computer wants. So that, so I don't know. We just see once again, there's a lot I should have done differently or could have played better. So that, they double their rooks up, although that's a mistake. They should have gone here and lined up on this knight. So I make a blunder. Best would have been knight to e7. Knight to e7, giving up this. Okay, then they can capture the other one. They would capture this. I could capture their knight. And then, oh, this doesn't look too good. Forking these pieces. So how do you get out of this? All right. Rook at b to c8. Looks like you just let that knight go, maybe? Rook at b to c8. No, okay. You threaten a back rank mate. Just letting both of these pieces remain under attack, threaten a back rank mate. Oh, man. Interesting move there. Then what? They just play h3, making an escape hatch for the king. And then we have what? Bishop to d5. So these are just some tactics that I overlooked, because they're pretty tricky. So until you improve your tactics, it's easy to miss these. So I definitely need to work on my tactics. I kind of been neglecting that lately. I was doing some tactics problems regularly, but I kind of got away from that. So it looks like I need to get back to studying tactics as well as these openings. All right. So anyway, how did the game go? We had this blunder of a knight move, which allows the capture. They give up the bishop pair, but they've wrecked my pawns. So I have two, isolated pawns here. And now knight to d7 would have been best here. So if they played knight to d7, it looks like g5 would be best. Attacking. Although, now they're saying move that rook out of there. Let's take a look at that. If we move the rook, well then they just fork the rooks anyway. So, then they just fork. Now we would just play g5 anyway, like we did in the other example. And then they could capture, which one? You'd think they would capture the rook over here, drive you into the corner, but they're saying to capture this way. Then of course you would recapture, bishop to e3, and now, you get this pawn at least. Knight takes e5. But, I don't know, it's not looking too good. They can move down here, which is what the computer recommends, just exchanging off material. King to h7 is what they recommend. Getting that king up into the center. Or just capturing. But you get the idea. They would just exchange material off. So in the game, they bring the rook down, just adding more pressure to my bishop. Oh, and I had a move that would swing the game back in my favor if I would have gone right here, which I overlooked that. Then bishop to e3. Threatening to maybe move down here and attack my rook, which is protecting this. Bishop up to d5, blocking in their rook. Although now it likes a capture, or not a capture, an attack on the rook, saying that's even better. But at least this way you're trapping the rook in here a little bit. Although, I don't know, this pawn is not protected here. All right, so bishop to d4. Maybe threatening to move back here and attack the knight. And now you have knight to b3, attacking the bishop. Knight captures. Pawn captures. And then rook to a7, getting behind this pawn, and then it's best to go here, maybe getting ready to double up the rooks. And then if I would have played in this manner, I could have maintained an edge. All right, another blunder here. So once again, that's what we just looked at, excuse me. So I play that. They capture, which is best. Now the best thing to do is capture, although now it's saying to capture this way. So if I captured that way, they just go after that. And now, king up to h7, and I just give up this pawn maybe? maybe they felt that that pawn was going to fall anyway once the knight jumps up here and piles up on it. Unless I try to push it forward, maybe. All right, so yeah, at this point, oh man, white would have a winning advantage, it looks like. So I don't know if I like the computer's recommendation there, but I probably should have lost this game, but was able to pull the draw out. So the game continues like this. Now they move up to protect, but that's the inaccuracy. Rook to c8, getting behind the passed pawn would have been better. So if they go here, then what? I should pick off the pawn on b2, or once again g5 attacking. So is that best, or it's showing that to be best? Then they could go rook to e3, kind of help put their bishop in a better position though. Now I could pick this off. They capture, and I don't have the back rank mate because the rook can move up and be protected by this bishop. But it says I should do this anyway. Rook to b1. Well, now it's changing its mind, recommending I go here after this pawn. All right, but if I played this, they're going to go rook to c1. Man, it looks like it's recommending that it looks like rook to b7, but I don't know. I just do not like this. So sometimes the computer, I think the computer has a little more trouble in end games, giving the best continuation, especially if there's no exchanges and tactics going on. All right, so I push forward. So if we go back and look at this, they move here. It would have been better to get behind the passed pawn, which is usually a good idea. Well, it's not passed, but behind this pawn to attack it. So I push forward, the best move. Now they have to play rook to d1, the only move, and they find it. So now I should capture. They have to play rook to b1 to block the pawn. And now rook to b3 is best. And h3. They played g6. Says that's an inaccuracy, that king to f1 would have been even better. Just start bringing that king over here to try and help pick this pawn off. All right, so I capture, a mistake. King up to g6 would have been better. So then they should play over to e3, because now they can push this pawn and protect this pawn. So looks like h5 is recommended. Now it's saying to just jump in the middle. But if they do that, oh, they can't push this now. They can't protect that, but they can go here and protect it and attack this. So at that point, I'm kind of forced to capture. They could go ahead and capture. And now, looks like g5 is what they like the best. Because now I could drop back here and protect this if I need to and not be blocking that g-pawn. So, although here they want me to go rook to a1. So like I said, I think the computer kind of has a little more trouble coming up with plans in the end games compared to some compared to the thinking of a human, we can think more in strategy. The computer's better at tactics and looking at all the exchanges. All right, and it depends how the computer is programmed as well. And I have this on a quicker setting. If I change the stockfish setting here, it would probably be more powerful. And, which maybe I'll do that here in the future. Just bump the setting up a little bit so it maybe looks a little bit deeper at things. All right, back to the game. I capture, they capture. I start pushing this pawn, but it looks like better is to immediately do that. Bishop to e3, king up to g6. Now it's saying rook to a5 would have been better. But if I'm on a dark square, they can just attack me. But, then I would be attacking this. So, anyway, we get the idea. So in the game, I tried something similar. Well, I don't know. I started pushing this up, and I probably should have just left that pawn on the light square down on my side of the board. So my opponent would, constantly have to keep an eye out on this. And then maybe I could have jumped down here attacking this. So in the game, I just start pushing, thinking, you should push the pawn. So it's probably good I got on this dark square. But what do I do next? So they attack. Oh, well, that's an interesting option. It's saying I should have just moved here, but then they could have just exchanged off the rook. So I don't know if I like that. Let's take a look. It's saying that's best, rook to b3, but then they would be winning. So I don't like your recommendation there, computer. All right, so I start trying to push forward, but now they get behind the passed pawn finally, and I attack. This is the best move because now they're stopping me from moving my pawn. So I attack their bishop, they attack me, and it didn't like that. Saying I should have moved over here. But I thought with this, see, now I have this pinned. They can't move the bishop or I pick off the rook. So the rook is just trapped on guard duty. What would have been better? What did they say here? Bishop to d4 instead. So bishop to d4. But then I could attack. Rook to d2. But then they could just block me with rook to... Well, I don't know. Maybe this would be a kind of a way to try to go for a draw. Now, do I go up here and attack that? It's just showing h5. All right, let's finish this out before I drag it on forever. Okay, so they didn't like that move. Apparently, I should have... That was a mistake. That king to h6 would have been better. Just immediately move my king up the board. But I was worried about rook to a7. And then I would have to move over here to protect this pawn, and this one would have been trapped behind my king, where the bishop could maybe come down along with the rook. I don't know. The rook might not be able to go after it. Well, yeah, if I'm up here, but then I could drop back and attack the rook if it goes here. All right. So that is what they recommend, but white would still have a +1 advantage. So g5 was played. That is a missed opportunity. Rook to a7 would have been better. Rook to a7, really? Let's look at that. They would give up their bishop, then capture with a check, then king to h8 or g8. They do not recommend going here. Huh. Okay. So h6. Well, if I go up there, they'll just go here and target that. They recommend g8 or h8. So if I go here, what they say is best, they could go up here and target my pawn. Then I have rook to b3 to protect it, but they could swing over here and go after this one. Yeah, that doesn't look so good. All right, once again, I might have to bump up the settings on this computer because I don't know how much that would help in the end games when things are more about strategy and long-term thinking instead of calculating all the moves short term instead of long term. All right, here we go. We captured. It did not like that, but I wanted to exchange off pawns. If you're behind in material, it's usually good to exchange off pawns here. So I'm getting ready to try and exchange off more. I keep picking off the pawns. Computer says that's a mistake, that rook to g2 would have been better. So let's take a look at rook to g2. Why does it like that? Well, now you have what? King up to d4. d4, c4, or e3. E3 kind of keeps the king out. So let's say they play that. Keeps your king from moving forward. And now they're recommending back to rook to h2 anyway. So there you go. So we ended up capturing this pawn. And now they can move. It would have been better to go after this pawn. But I don't know if I like that so much. Because they could just move the king over and attack. And then what do? You're starting to run out of options on where to move your rook. So they target that. I have to drop back to protect. The king protects his pawn. We go after the bishop. Bishop attacks. So we're just doing some maneuvering here, and we get behind our passed pawn. The king comes over. We protect, although it likes an attack on the bishop. But I wanted to protect this pawn to free my king up to move forward. So now I attack. I thought his king would have... Well, he has to go over here to block this pawn. Okay. All right, so we go up here attacking this. He protects. Now we can push forward. So that kind of helped us a little bit. We just trade off some more pawns. And he piles up on that. But that lets us move forward and go after this pawn. So capture. A mistake better would have been bishop. Oh, to c3. Yeah, this would have been a tough move here because the pawn... He could have kept this pawn. So, man, now they're recommending rook to b7, just giving up this pawn. But I don't know if I like that. But you don't really have much... I don't really have much options. Yeah, it would be pretty rough there. They could, that would have been tough to fight against this bishop to c3 move. All right, back to the end of the game here. This allowed us to push forward, exchange, and now if we get rid of the rooks, we'll be able to just get a draw here, which is what ended up happening. So, and rooks are exchanged for a draw. Okay, well, thank you for watching. If you stuck around for the entire game review, and game analysis, please like and subscribe for those that haven't already. Feel free, as always, to leave any comments, suggestions, anything you want. Thank you for watching, and have a super chess day.